Yo guys, Spiderbot here. We got Black Ops 2 TranZit Secrets. We're taking a look back at Samuel's quotes. Samuel Stullinger, whatever you want to call him. Anyways, he's got the most interesting quotes. There's actually a lot of them, more so than any of the other characters that we're going to go through. And if you actually look at Samuel, he's the only one that actually has blood on him. He's got blood like he's wounded or something, but he has blood on his leg, on his arm. None of the other characters have this. Just something to keep in mind, and remember, he is also the only one that can hear Richthofen, so that's another interesting little piece of information. Alright, so here we go.
It's a conspiracy!
Now, there are quite a number of quotes coming from Samuel talking about conspiracies. Obviously, this guy's a conspiracy theorist. May in part have to do with Richthofen talking to him and his talk about other voices in his head, and he often refers to, quote-unquote, them. Not sure who them are, but he knows possibly who them are.
Oh, just what the doctor ordered for the voices in my head.
Now again, we know that Richthofen talks to him in his head, but here he's referring to more than one. He's referring to voices in the plural. Perhaps there are other voices in his head telling him what to do, controlling his actions, perhaps. Don't know, but we know that it sounds maybe he is crazy, right? And it sounds like it is actually more than Richthofen talking to him.
You know who owns this bus line, right? Everyone knows. It's them.
Here's another reference to them. Maybe they own the bus line, maybe not. He thinks they do. Who knows?
Oh, now that's a score! Oh, that supernatural box from Atlantis must like you! Oh, wow. Okay, I've said too much.
So I know there's always reference to a lot of theories about possible maps that may be coming up in DLC. I think Atlantis was one of them. I don't think China was ever one of them, and we already know that Die Rise is going to be located in China. But Samuel mentions Atlantis in two specific quotes, including this one, referring to the box. Not sure who's actually pulling from the box at this point in time, but if you guys have any idea, if you've ever heard or played as Samuel and heard him say this when somebody in particular was pulling from the box, then let us know and reference quote number 4.
That box of lies comes right out of the Bermuda Triangle. I read.
Now here, he's referring to the box coming out of the Bermuda Triangle, so I don't know. Is it Atlantis? Is it Bermuda Triangle? Is Atlantis in the Bermuda Triangle? I don't believe there is such thing as Atlantis. I mean, it's all conjecture and theory, right? But anyways, again, another location reference, possibility of a map location in the Bermuda Triangle. Who knows?
Oh, I know all about the plots and the schemes. I know what's really going on. You betcha.
Now, this one's a recurring theme throughout his quotations. Oh, I know all about the plots, schemes. He knows what's really going on. And in future quotes, he actually starts mentioning something. Then he tells himself to shut up. He talks to himself quite often. So, really don't know. Maybe he's aware of more than the other characters. Or maybe not. Maybe he is crazy.
No! Don't probe me! Not again!
Samuel quite often refers to aliens, and it seems perhaps he thinks he was abducted by aliens in the past. He was probed by aliens. Now, when he says some of these quotes about probing, usually it has to do with the Avogadro. If the Avogadro's nearby and it's zapping the players, maybe it's probing them perhaps. But I have heard him quote this when the Avogadro hasn't been around. I think when the lightning comes up, and there's another quote that we're going to see. It sounds like somebody's getting probed over there. He is referring at, that quotation actually occurs not when the Avogadro is around, but again, perhaps it has to do with the lightning, and maybe he thinks the Avogadro is in a location somewhere close by that, and is actually probing something. I don't know. We'll get to that specific quote in a bit here.
That's for all the times your kind probed us Earth folk.
And again, another reference to being probed. Perhaps he thinks the Avogadro is of alien orientation. Well, makes sense. I mean, where the heck did this electric man come from anyway?
Hey, what if I just joined him? Yeah, became a fungus scummer. I definitely know who's behind it then.
This is one of the more interesting ones that actually ties in with a couple of other quotes. What if he joined them, became one of the zombies? Then he'd know who's behind it, possibly then, but at the same time, he'd be a zombie, so not quite sure what he's thinking he could do about it with that knowledge once he's a zombie, but hey, he's obviously thinking about joining the zombie ranks.
Oh, you act like you're mindless flesh burritos, but I know the truth!
So another reference to him knowing more, knowing about the truth, yet he really doesn't give us any clues along the way or hint at any further information. Possibly in Die Rise, he's actually going to continue and expand upon the quotes that we've heard him say here, and hopefully we learn more. And by the end of all the DLC, we'll have the end game. Whether he's part of it or not, we will know. Hopefully, we'll know the truth. But I'm sure, as Treyarch usually leaves it at the end of DLC or at the end of even each map, we have more questions than answers. Unfortunately, it's like a bad J.J. Abrams TV series, with Alias or Lost. At the end of an episode, we get an answer, but we have 5 more questions. WTF, JJ?
Everyone knows it came from the Hollow Earth.
Now, this quote I really don't have a clue about. Everyone knows it came from the Hollow Earth. I've never heard him say this before. If you guys have, please reference quote number 11. It may be nothing, it may be something, and specifically I want to know what he's referring to. What actually came from the Hollow Earth?
I feel like I might have been here before or something.
Alright, I think this is another character reference for the bank. I believe all 4 characters have recollection of being at the bank before. Again, not sure how, when, why. Perhaps, again, we'll learn more from Die Rise when it comes out.
Who's that? Show yourself! You think I don't know you're talking about me?
Another quote that I can't quite place. Perhaps he's referring to the voices in his head. Perhaps he's referring to Richtofen speaking to him. I don't remember the times that I played as Samuel. I don't recall him saying this when Richtofen spoke to him, but perhaps it is. If you guys know or can pinpoint specifically when and where this quotation is said by Samuel, let us know. Number 13.
Hey, I ain't fooled! I know you're in on it with them. If you die, I'll know you're not part of the conspiracy.
Alright, so this is the first of a few quotes, and I think he's referring specifically to Marlton. Samuel actually has a camaraderie with Russman, and we'll see in some quotes coming up that he has that camaraderie. He doesn't really like Misty. He thinks she's a slut, a tramp, a bitch, or whatever you want to call her. I think here he's referring to Marlton, and I think some of the other quotes he's referring specifically to Marlton. He believes that Marlton is in on it. He believes that Marlton has information or knows a lot more than he's letting on, and he's not telling the group. Now, when we reviewed Marlton's quotes, he didn't really give any indications, I thought, that he did know more. But, again, going back to the Die Rise trailer, somehow Marlton, there's something with Marlton. I mean, for him to not appear in the trailer at all, and for them to specifically show a zombie that kind of looks like Marlton, I don't know. I mean, again, it's just theory right now, conjecture, whatever. But he definitely has this thing about Marlton and thinks that Marlton is involved somehow, and I think so too. Marlton was in Nuketown, remember? He's got to know something. He's got to know more. He does. Definitely does.
Oh, holy shnikes, it's an alien!
Just included this one as another reference to aliens, and I believe he says this quotation when the Avogadro either first appears in the power station or when he appears later on in later rounds.
I know what those aliens do inside their flying discs!
Another alien reference, and the thing that really bothers me is in those, when I was discussing a few minutes ago, in those specific instances when the Avogadro isn't around, I believe, almost each character has where they're referencing something happening, where Stulinger is talking about somebody getting probed, Marlton says something about something over there, and it kind of refers to a spaceship, I think. I know what those aliens do inside their flying discs. It's almost like there's a spaceship in the distance, but I've never really, I've looked around when I've heard the characters say that. I've never really seen anything different. I believe it's when there is lightning, but I could be wrong. But maybe there's something you have to do at that point in time. I don't know. But it's just curious how at those specific points of time, when there's really nothing going on, they say those types of things.
I'd rather be judged by 12 than eaten by 6! And who told you to come after me? Huh? Why do they want me dead?
So this saying actually refers to the common saying, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. So here he's obviously playing on the zombies and eaten by 6. You look it up on Urban Dictionary. To be judged by 12 is to go to court and to be judged by a 12-man jury, which all court trials have. To be carried by 6 is to be dead. It's common for 6 people to carry a coffin, 3 on each side, to and from the hearse. So in totality, the phrase really means that the person would rather kill someone and go to prison than to themselves be killed and have to be buried. And also, the last part of that, why do they want me dead? Again, referring to the they, possibly Richtofen and his crew, or whoever's controlling the zombies. Obviously, the zombies are after him, after that Samuel as well as the rest of the group, and they want him dead, right?
Oh, I'll expose your conspiracy if it's the last thing I do!
Another conspiracy quotation, and again, once at the end of the DLC, at the end of Black Ops 2, I think that Marlton and Stuhlinger will really have something to do with the entire end game story. I mean, I don't think Misty, she's another character. She really, from the quotations that we've seen with Misty, I really don't think she has much of a place in the story, unless they build it up into the final DLC for Black Ops 2. Perhaps they can, but really she's not interesting, and neither is Russ. Russ really isn't interesting, even though we have the whole Stop Russ thing at the bus stop. From his quotations and from the interactions with the other characters, there really isn't that much interesting to him. The 2 characters that are interesting are Marlton and Stuhlinger. And it was the same with the original 4 characters. I mean, Richtofen was obviously the most interesting of them all. The other 3 characters were, they were characters, but really you didn't think much of a story behind them. You didn't really think that they had much to do with anything. Even though they were pretty colorful characters, they were still uninteresting from a story progression point of view, unlike Richtofen. Again, Richtofen was the most interesting of them all, and who the story was almost entirely based around.
Ugh. If the rest of them discover what I've... No! 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 Don't even think about it, Stellinger. They can never know.
So this is another one of those quotes that gets me thinking about, again, referring to the blood that Stuhlinger had on him. I have the firm belief that he has been somehow affected or impacted by Element 115, similar to the zombies. Although, again, he's obviously not a zombie, but being the only one that can hear Richtofen, there is a link there. And this is one of the quotes that furthers that belief. And you'll see another one a little later on that solidifies that belief in my head anyway, or in my mind. And hopefully this gets fleshed out even further. But something, he's done something. He's part of something, but we don't get enough info out of it to determine exactly what that is, unfortunately.
I am not crazy. Oh, I'll kill anyone who thinks that. And I can hear what you're thinking too, so don't think it.
Yeah, I have a hard time placing these quotations. I'm sorry. I'm not crazy. When does he say this? When have you guys ever heard him say this? I can hear what you're thinking too, so don't think it. So he's going to kill anyone who thinks he's crazy. I mean, I think he's crazy. I guess Samuel's going to be coming after me. And he can hear what someone is thinking. Maybe he can hear what Richtofen's thinking. Not sure. Again, if anybody could help pinpointing these exact quotes, when and where and under what circumstances they are happening, you will definitely help us piece this together in preparation for future Black Ops 2 Zombies DLC.
I don't want to die! I haven't figured out who's behind it all yet!
So Samuel actually kind of flip-flops back a little bit. You know, he knows more than he's letting on, but yet he hasn't figured out who's behind it all yet. But he actually, in some of the other quotes, he references that he sort of does know what's going on. So not sure which it is. Again, maybe this just pinpoints him more as a nut bar, perhaps, or maybe he just has multiple personalities.
Hey, cut the crap, okay? I know you're in on it with these zombies.
Another quote where I think he's referring to Marlton. It could be Richtofen, but I think he's referring to Marlton. Again, with that earlier quote, Marlton knows much more about what's going on than he's letting us believe. Again, even going back to Nuketown Zombies, he was there. He was there when it all started, and when the bombs came down from Moon. He was presumably there at the time, right? Right? I don't know, maybe he was on Moon. Maybe the transmissions that Richtofen was sending from the Moon, and we know that the audio quotes from Marlton are actually TranZit audio quotes being replayed in the Nuketown Fallout shelter. I don't know, man. I don't know what it means. This fucking Treyarch. Damn it.
Oh, I never get those! But then I'm not in on it, so why would I?
This is another one of those quotes where I think he's referring to Marlton. I would assume to get this quote, Marlton would have to hit the box and get something in particular, and he's referring to getting those. My guess is Marlton gets monkey bombs. Marlton gets monkey bombs, and Samuel's complaining, well, I never get those, but I'm not in on it. In on this whole thing with the zombies like Marlton, or he thinks Marlton is, and that's why Marlton is getting the monkey bombs. Again, if you guys can confirm that you've actually heard that. I mean, it's such a specific quote, and you have to be playing as a specific character. You got to be playing as Samuel, and probably nearby Marlton. Marlton's got to go to the box. He's got to pull monkeys. I mean, that's pretty damn specific. So if you guys... Yes, please confirm if you have heard this quote in that specific instance or otherwise.
The aliens try to talk to me at night when I'm trying to sleep.
Another random reference to aliens, and I'm pretty sure this is just a random quote that Samuel will say at some time. Random, right? Random.
Late at night, when no one's around, I get out the book and I read all about what's really going on.
Alright, I want to know what book he's talking about. You guys know what book he's talking about? I don't think I've seen a book on TranZit. Have you guys? Or on Green Run, whatever. Every video I get flack. Wow, TranZit's the game mode. Green Run's the map. I'm just, it's TranZit, whatever. I just refer to it as a TranZit. Have you guys seen a book in Green Run / TranZit at all? I don't think I have, and maybe, again, he's just this crazy talk, but I wonder what book he's talking about and what is really going on. Samuel, come on, let us in on it.
I know all you debtors are working for him!
I know all you debtors are working for him. Marlton, Richtofen, eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Someone over there must be getting probed.
This goes back to some of the quotes we talked about earlier about probing. This one, I believe, again, is said at a random time, perhaps when there's lightning, but there's nothing around. The Avogadro isn't around, but my feeling is that since he refers to probing all the time when the Avogadro is around, that perhaps he thinks that with the lightning, the Avogadro is possibly nearby and is probing somebody else over there.
I got enough bullets for everyone in Atlantis!
This is the second of two quotes by Samuel regarding Atlantis. And again, referring possibly, I know there's theories about a possible map being in Atlantis. We've heard him talk about Bermuda Triangle as well. I think it was Marlton that referenced China. Maybe there's a link, maybe not. Maybe he's just referring to Atlantis. Maybe he's from Atlantis. He's got bullets for everyone in Atlantis. He wants to kill everybody in Atlantis. Atlantis buried under the ocean somewhere in the Bermuda Triangle, perhaps.
Okay, so I remember seeing this big hairy thing, right? And he walks behind a rock, and he looks over his right shoulder, and then he walks behind a tree, and then he walks behind another tree, and then he just keeps walking, right? Just keeps walking right into the woods. It happened.
Yeah, no clue. I can imagine him saying this near the cabin where you see the trees and stuff. Maybe he's referring. Maybe he saw Bigfoot. Is he talking about Bigfoot? This one just boggles my mind. It's pretty funny, and it almost lends credence to him being this crazy nut job and has no idea what he's talking about and is just nuts, crazy. That's it. And he's gonna kill me for thinking that way. Damn it.
I know what's really going on here. Oh yeah, you don't fool me. No. I know all about it. All about that secret stuff.
All right, again, referring to Richthofen and or Marlton or somebody else. Obviously, he knows what's really going on here, but he doesn't know who's behind it. You know all about it, all about that secret stuff, but yet you don't know who's behind it. Come on, Samuel. Give us something frickin' concrete to go on.
Don't you look confused. You know.
And yet another one. All these quotes from Samuel, now that I've actually gone through them, makes me just want to go in with the guys. And I know how much they love playing TranZit if we just played it for days on end, for weeks on end, and just go in and I want to play as Samuel and pay specific attention to the quotes, right? Pay specific attention to these, and there are a total of 34 of them that we have in this video, and myself pinpoint every single location, and I'm sure it would take a bunch of run-throughs on TranZit and try, going to the box and doing various things to try and pinpoint them. But hopefully with the thousands of people that watch the videos and also play, that you can help with that as well. And again, just reference the quote numbers and specifically identify when and where they're happening.
That's right. She's next, asking too many nosy questions about who I'm always talking to and who I'm eating. No, shut up.
So this quote refers to a couple things. Number one, he has a dislike for Misty, and I didn't include all the quotes that relay that information a little bit better than this one, but this one is good because it's kind of loaded. She's next. He's thinking about talking about taking her out or having somebody take her out, and I'm always talking to and who I'm eating. Asking too many nosy questions about who I'm always talking to and who I'm eating. That, again, the blood on Samuel, the feeling that I have that he is infected with 115, perhaps he is, in fact, part zombie, the only one who can hear Richthofen speak, the other characters can't. It's all got to be related, and I think, again, he is, like a part zombie. Maybe he's immune to becoming a full zombie, perhaps, but the blood about eating people, I don't know. All these quotes, when you look at them in singularity, there's not much, but when you start looking at them together, I think it starts to piece that sort of picture together, in my opinion.
Oh, everyone's always talking, saying I'm crazy, saying I talk to myself. I don't do that. I never talk to myself. I'm not crazy, they're crazy.
Yeah, Stu, you're pretty much crazy because you're saying this quote and you're actually talking to yourself. But he thinks they're crazy now. He wants them all dead, doesn't he? Maybe not Russman, because he's got camaraderie with Russman. I didn't include those quotes either because, we're going on 24 minutes now.
Glowing lights, disappearing conspiracy crates, alien ass probers, and whoever keeps whispering to me in my head. They're all in on it!
And I do have to agree with Russ. This is the last quote. The glowing lights, disappearing conspiracy crates, the alien ass probers like that, and Richthofen in his head. They are all in on it. Yes, Samuel, I am sure they are all in on it. All right, guys, that is it for Samuel Stollinger or Stulinger or Stulicker, whatever you want to call him. Most interesting character of them all. Again, you have that linkage going back to World at War and Black Ops, it was all about Richthofen. Here, it is all about Stuhlinger, or Stallinger, whatever the hell you want to call him. I think he's the key. I think he is the key. He will hold the answers. And again, he is the only one that can communicate with Richthofen. So we will flesh out this story mostly through him, and he will play some key role in the end. I can almost guarantee it. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Leave a comment. Pretty interesting. We'll be doing Richthofen next in the next few days. All right, guys? Take care. I'm Spider, and I'm out.